President of the United States, Joe Biden, on Wednesday reinforced his support to Ukraine but said that the US won't be involved in its fight against Russia. He, however, said that his country will protect NATO territories together with its allies. The US and our allies will defend every inch of NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Ukrainians are fighting back with pure courage. Putin may make gains on the battlefield, but he'll have to continue to pay a high price over the long run, Biden said while delivering his State of the Union address to a joint session of Congress. He, however, clarified that American forces will not engage with Russia on Ukraine's soil. Our forces are not going to fight for Ukraine, but defend our NATO allies and to prevent Putin from moving west. We have mobilized American ground forces, air squadrons, ships to protect NATO countries, including Poland, Romania, Latvia, Lithuania and Estonia, he said. Moving on to the next news, the Election Commission is yet to take a decision on repolling at 9 booths in Manipur where clashes were reported. The repolling has been recommended by district observers and polling officers in Manipur. 9 polling stations where fresh polls will take place are located in Churchandrapur district of Manipur. These include Songsang Mission School, Mighty ME School and Tinsuang ME School in Thanlon Assembly Constituency, Majuron Kuki, Khoirentak, Molsang, Lenom in Hengklip Assembly Constituency, and Taikot and Maukot in the Singat Assembly Constituency. Moving on to the next news, Brent oil extended its relentless rally above $110 a barrel before an OPEC Plus meeting as the International Energy Agency warned that global energy security is under threat following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Futures in London and New York both soared almost 6%, pushing West Texas Intermediate to the highest since 2013 before easing slightly. The situation across energy markets is very serious, IEA Executive Director Fatih Birol said Tuesday after the US and other economies agreed to release oil reserves. Investors will be watching for a response from OPEC Plus when the cartel meets Wednesday to discuss April supply, but only a modest increase is expected despite the turmoil rippling through the sector. Moving on to the next news, with Operation Ganga in full swing on Ukraine's western borders, the Narendra Modi government is in constant touch with Moscow to give safe passage to Indian students stranded in Kharkiv and Sumy war zones and allow evacuation through the eastern border with Russia. A Russian-speaking team from the Indian embassy in Moscow has been parked in Belgorod, which is close to both war-hit cities of Ukraine, for the past few days, and evacuation through Russian diplomatic channels are being worked out at the highest levels. According to ballpark figures available, due to fullest cooperation of Poland, Slovakia, Hungary, Moldova and Romania governments, as many as 13,000 Indians have been evacuated out of Ukraine through the western borders, with another 3,000 making their way to the Ukraine war zone to safety. Around 4,000 Indian students are stuck in Kharkiv and Sumy, where the Russian military offensive is on with Putin's forces trying to encircle the key cities of Ukraine in a typical World War II operation. Moving on to the next news. India is sending humanitarian aid and other medical supplies to war-hit Ukraine after Russia launched a full-blown invasion last week. According to officials, a team of the National Disaster Response Force (NDRF) is sending 100 tents and 2,500 blankets to the Indian Air Force's Hindon Air Base. From there, it will be sent via a flight to Romania, the neighboring country of Ukraine. The flight is scheduled to leave at 10:15 hours. More flights carrying relief material are also set to depart from Delhi to Poland at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. today. The loading of the consignments was already done last night. Ukraine is staring at a major humanitarian crisis after Russian forces launched a full-blown invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. On Tuesday, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said 300 civilians, including at least 14 children, have been killed so far.